You know the Atreides. You know the Harkonnens. But the Empire of Dune counts dozens of great houses, and the war for Arrakis is not a family feud. It is a rigged system, designed by one man to destroy another. By the end of this video, you will know who built the trap, why, and why that trap released something far worse than its target. Here is the complete map of power in Dune. To understand any political scene in Dune, you first need to see the structure. The known universe stands on 3 legs, like a tripod. Remove one leg, and everything collapses. First leg. The Emperor. House Carino has ruled for 10,000 years since a founding battle I will come back to. Its strength is a personal army whose reputation freezes the blood. The Sardaukar, soldiers raised on a prison world so lethal that survival itself is their training. Hold that thought, it matters later. Second leg. The Landsraad, the assembly of all the great houses. Individually, none of them can challenge the Emperor. Together, they would crush him. This is not a decorative hypothesis. It is the single calculation that restrains everyone. The Emperor cannot openly attack a great house because every other house would read it as a precedent aimed, one day, at them. Third leg, the Spacing Guild, which holds the absolute monopoly on interstellar travel. Without it, no trade, no deployed troops, no empire. And notice what that means. The one power even the Emperor cannot command is the one that carries his armies. The Guild never takes sides. It simply bills both camps and lets the rest of the universe exhaust itself. And in the middle of the tripod sits the cash box. It is called CHOAM, a mega corporation that manages most of the universe's commerce, whose shares are split between the Emperor and the great houses. Remember that name, because here is the sentence that unlocks all of Dune's politics. Power, in this universe, is measured in CHOAM shares. Titles, planets, crests, all of that is the facade. CHOAM is the real ledger. To put a number on it, a single seat on that board can be worth more than the entire tax revenue of a planet. Directorships are negotiated like thrones. Winning a seat, or costing a rival his, is what the great houses truly do between 2 arranged marriages. 2 houses will smile through a royal wedding while quietly trying to bankrupt each other in the same afternoon. And the single line that crushes every other in the accounts is the spice, which comes from one planet only, Arrakis. So receiving Arrakis as a fief is not winning a planet. It is seizing the lion's share of the universe's dividends. The Emperor even takes a tithe on every official gram, which makes the throne both the system's first beneficiary and its first hostage. That is why the Emperor's gift to the Atreides lands like an earthquake in the Landsraad. On the surface, he is offering sand. In accounting terms, he is moving the financial center of gravity of the whole empire from one house to another. The crests on the banners are sentiment. The shares you never see are the war. You can see the board taking shape. Now, the players. House Atreides, Dukes of Caledon, a planet of oceans. Temperate, comfortable. Let us be precise because the film embellishes a little. The Atreides are not the richest house, nor the strongest militarily. Their capital lies elsewhere. Duke Leto inspires something money cannot buy: loyalty. His men would die for him, and the other houses of the Landsraad respect him, listen to him, would almost follow him. Note that word, almost. Because that almost is exactly what is going to kill him. And Leto cultivates that loyalty the way other houses maintain an army. He trains his officers like a school, celebrates their weddings, knows their sons by name. Look at the men it attracts. Duncan Idaho, a swordmaster half the houses in the universe would poach at any price, who will die for his duke without a heartbeat of hesitation. Gurney Halleck, warrior and poet, dragged out of the Harkonnen slave pits, who becomes the most faithful blade in the house. Thufir Hawat, a mentat who has served 3 generations of Atreides. None of these men was born a vassal of Caledon. Every one of them chose. Other houses buy skills. The Atreides manufacture belonging. And here is the detail that changes everything. Leto's household troops are good enough to worry the throne itself. Not as many as the Sardaukar, but trained with a care no prison planet can copy. An emperor can forgive a rich rival. He cannot forgive a rival whose soldiers might one day fight better than his own. And Leto knows all of it. He reads the gift for exactly what it is, and he goes anyway because refusing the Emperor is simply a slower death. House Harkonnen. Barons of Giedi Prime, an industrial world. Polluted. Brutal. Their fortune is colossal, and much of it comes from Arrakis, which they administered for decades, squeezing the planet like a lemon. For 80 years, they bled it for spice and gave almost nothing back. But the classic mistake is to reduce them to brutes. Do not mistake their theatrics for stupidity. The public cruelty of Giedi Prime, the games, the spectacle, is a message carefully staged for the other houses. This is what defiance costs. The Harkonnen hatred for the Atreides is 10,000 years old. It goes back to the Battle of Corran, the fight that founded the Empire, where a Harkonnen was branded a coward by an Atreides, and his whole line was cast out of honor for generations. The Harkonnens rebuilt their power through the only lever left to pariahs: money and a total absence of scruples. So Baron Vladimir plays a longer game. He is not a bloodthirsty madman. Every cruelty of his is budgeted, every humiliation repaid with interest, and he is already grooming his heirs to inherit not just the fortune, but the grudge. That is what makes him terrifying. House Corrino, Emperor Shaddam IV, 81st of the name. On paper, the most powerful man in the universe. In reality, a worried man. And his fear is sharper than pride. His Sardaukar are legendary, but legends age and comfort dulls a blade. Deep down, Shaddam suspects that Leto's disciplined troops are creeping toward the level of his own. A duke that loved, with soldiers that good, is the one sum an emperor cannot allow to finish. And the source of his worry has a name: Leto Atreides. Here we are. The trap. Take the pieces one by one. Leto is becoming too popular in the Landsraad. The houses admire him, would almost follow him. For an emperor whose power rests on the division of the great houses, a man who could unite them is not a rival. He is a death sentence on hold. But Shaddam cannot strike him openly. The Landsraad would call it the attack too many, and the tripod would turn against him. So he does something brilliant. He gives a gift. He takes Arrakis away from the Harkonnens and hands it to the Atreides. In the eyes of the universe, an immense honor, the most precious planet in the known world, entrusted to the most admired house. In reality, a trap with 3 triggers. 1. Leto leaves Caladan, his fortress, his people, his base, for a hostile planet he knows nothing about. 2. The Harkonnens, publicly humiliated, now have a perfect motive to strike, and the whole universe will call their revenge natural. 3. The secret trigger. Shaddam lends the Harkonnens his own Sardaukar, disguised in Harkonnen uniforms, to guarantee the massacre. And there is one last lock on the trap, the cruelest of all, a traitor planted inside the Atreides household itself, turning the Duke's most trusted circle into the blade that opens the gate. That story deserves its own video. The beauty of the whole design, from the Emperor's chair, is that he never has to lift a blade in the open. Expected result: the Atreides erased, the Harkonnens holding sole blame, and the Imperial hand invisible. A rival removed, 0 precedent created. On paper, a perfect move. And now you understand the true nature of Dune's first act. It is not a transfer of power gone wrong. It is an execution disguised as a promotion, and everyone, Leto included, knows it. The Atreides leave for Arrakis knowing the trap, hoping to be faster than it. They will not be. But Shaddam's trap had a design flaw. It targeted a duke. It released a prophet. By destroying House Atreides, the Emperor threw Paul into the desert, to a people prepared for centuries to welcome a Messiah. Shaddam's perfect move is, very exactly, the founding act of his own downfall. Before we close, let us widen the map one last time, because the universe is not limited to these 3 houses. In the shadow of the Landsraad, move powers you only glimpse in the first book, and each one deserves its own video. House Ix, whose engineers walk a razor's edge, selling the Empire technology it publicly forbids and privately cannot live without. The Tleilaxu, gene wizards who grow artificial bodies and custom-made mentats in their tanks, who can even revive the dead as programmable ghosts, and whose price is always higher than it looks. And Count Fenring, the Emperor's dearest friend and quietest knife, a man born to be the Kwisatz Haderach and stopped one step short, which left him brilliant, sterile, and utterly without mercy. Remember those names. They will come back. Shaddam's trap rested on a weapon almost nobody has ever seen up close. The Sardaukar, the army that does not come from an academy, but from a prison planet. What they are, where they come from, and the single sentence that explains their downfall, that is where this story goes next.